What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Goosebumps review. Today, we are reviewing Series 2000, number 18, Horrors of the Black Ring. A very menacing title. And the cover of this book is personally one of my favorites from Series 2000. I don't know about the entire franchise, but it's definitely a good cover. It's simple but effective, as most Jacobus covers tend to be. A lot of people have called this book a Haunted Mask clone, I suppose, where it's very similar to the Haunted Mask, but again, obviously it's not the Haunted Mask or a Haunted Mask book. We'll get to my thoughts on that, but before we get there, we got to get to the review, so let's just jump right in to Series 2000, number 18, Horrors of the Black Ring. Our story begins with Beth, our protagonist, and her little sister Amanda walking to school. And after being bullied by a kid named Anthony about a bird with a broken wing that Beth wants to take in because she really cares about animals, Beth arrives at her class with her teacher, Miss Gold, who has a new ring. An all-black ring with a black band and a black jewel in the middle that seems to have the image of a cloudy face inside. Miss Gold talks about how she just found it lying in the school parking lot and decided to keep it until someone came looking for it. So she put it on her finger, but she's kind of glad that no one has come to talk to her about it yet because she can't get it off her finger. Later at lunch, Miss Gold utters a scream from her room, and Beth and her crush Danny head there to see what happened, and they find the chalkboard covered in the phrase, "The carnival is doomed," referencing the carnival that's about to happen at their school, which Beth and Danny are both responsible for setting up. And Beth thinks the bully Anthony did it because he walks by the school and he seems to have chalk dust on his hands for whatever reason. That Saturday, Beth has to go to school to help set up the carnival. But before she goes, someone calls her on her phone and warns her not to come to school today. The voice is a little distorted, so she figures it could be anybody, but she thinks it's her sister Amanda because she hears Amanda giggling from the other room, and when she goes in, she has her cordless phone in her hand. When she and Danny arrive, they go to get the art projects from the art room, but they find the art room completely trashed, with another message about the doomed carnival, and it seems the only painting left intact is Anthony's, which is a horrible, crude picture of Beth, with a new addition. It has blood dripping from Beth's mouth, which is a little creepy. Anthony probably should have been punished for that, but he isn't, even though we know it may or may not be Anthony. Beth and Danny, and now Tina, the head of the carnival, try to continue to help the efforts of setting it up by baking cookies, but a fire starts instead, leaving everyone to evacuate the school in a panic. And Anthony is yet again there. The next day, which is the day of the carnival, everything is being set up for the gym, and things seem to be going good. The art projects have been remade, and more cookies have been made by parents that heard about the fire at the school. So Beth takes a brownie and takes a bite, but there's a weird crunch to it, and Beth throws up, discovering that inside the brownie is a bunch of maggots. So they head to Miss Gold for some help, and head to the gym just in time to watch Danny test the duct tape. But head there just in time. Oh my fucking god. They go to Miss Gold for help, and they head to the gym just in time to watch Danny test the dunk tank. But when he gets dropped in, the water starts boiling him, despite the tank having just been filled with cold water. The black ring has been mentioned quite a bit up to this point, with Miss Gold being very anxious and always covering it and looking at it. And something is wrong with the ring clearly, and it seems to be stressing Miss Gold out quite a lot, because she doesn't look very good. That night, at the carnival, the actual event is going on now, Beth mans the ticket station, while her little sister Amanda, who she had to bring along, goes off to do her own thing. When suddenly, a man in a black robe appears at the gym, and he raises his arms, and the lights start flickering, and then he starts to spin. Suddenly, tables start bursting into flames, Game booths are exploding all around, and wasps start to swarm the gym, swarming a bunch of people. Beth looks furiously for her little sister, worried she's in danger, and when she spots her, she runs. But she's too late. The robed man grabs her and starts to take her away. But the police at the carnival tackle the robed man and save Amanda, but they also take off the robe. They take off the hood and discover that the person under the robe is Miss Gold. Miss Gold was promptly arrested, and Amanda ran back to Beth, and right as Miss Gold was taken away by the police, Beth saw something on the ground. It was the ring, and for some reason, she decides to put it on. I like this twist, and it goes along with a pretty intense scene, with fire and explosions and wasps. There's a lot of chaos, obviously, and for the first time in the franchise, an absolute Goosebumps first, at least as far as I've been educated, the police actually do something. I mean, this is a crazy moment. I mean, in so many Goosebumps stories, the adults are practically useless, but the police in this story are out here breaking the mold. And, it'll be interesting to see how the ring works so we can look back to the beginning of the story and reflect on Miss Gold's behavior. That being said, that night, Beth has a dream, and in the dream, she sees Danny, Tina, and Anthony. And for whatever reason, she's compelled to grab Anthony's head and rip it off. She rips off Anthony's head, and using his blood, she tries to slip the ring off her finger while frantically screaming that blood is the answer, that blood is going to work and get the ring off her hand finally. She's going crazy, and she wakes up to find her room absolutely torn to shreds, with Amanda standing in the doorway asking why she did that. Obviously, this is a pretty dark and insane scene. We have a character ripping someone's head off and using their blood from their dismembered head to try and get the ring off while screaming that blood is the answer. I mean, that's pretty crazy, even for Goosebumps. The next day, Beth heads to the hospital to find Miss Gold to see if she can help. She looks horrible, but even so, she still freaks out at the sight of the ring, saying that Beth needs to take it off. The next day, Beth suddenly finds herself doing horrible things and enjoying them, like kicking her sister so she can shut up, trashing Anthony's bike and sunglasses, and putting a kid in his locker. Beth soon realizes that the ring is controlling her, but it's too late when she's forced to head to the new bike race for charity, and even Anthony is there with a new bike, even though he said he wouldn't go because he's not the type to do something for charity. But the ring makes Beth sabotage his brakes so he can ruin the whole race, but potentially hurt people. But before she can, Beth comes back, and she pedals away, all the way home to finally remove the ring. But suddenly, the face leaves the ring in a cloud of smoke. It seems Beth had done enough evil to power the ring, so now the creature would possess Beth, just like it did with Miss Gold at the gym. But Beth thinks quickly. She manages to yank the ring off her finger and puts it on the foot of the dead bird she was trying to nurse back to health at the beginning of the story. This seems to kill the creature for good, because the face is sucked back into the ring, and when Beth examines the ring afterwards, it's completely clear. So Beth buries the ring along with the bird, but Amanda comes home saying that her mom brought her a new present, and she shows Beth a new black ring with a face inside. This book is indeed very similar to The Haunted Mask, in which it's about a cursed object that takes control of its host, but I think this story is unique enough in its own ways to not be a complete ripoff. I like the ring and the face inside it, and the scene with the gym where it shows off its powers is truly insane, making it clear this creature is out for blood. Speaking of which, there was quite a lot of blood in this book, making it stand out to me as Goosebumps never really puts emphasis on blood. I honestly want to believe that people die more often in this franchise than they bleed, which is a pretty weird sentence to say. Even though it has its comparisons, I think Stein does it in a way that makes it stand out with its crazy scenes and interesting aesthetic. I think The Haunted Mask has more of a sense of dread than this book has, where this book is focused a bit more on insanity In The Haunted Mask, Carly Beth. Oh wow, would you look at that? Their names are pretty similar too. They both share the name Beth. That's actually pretty weird. I just figured that out. But anyways, in The Haunted Mask, Carly Beth has to, she's more scared of the mask than Beth is scared of the ring in this story. I mean, obviously Beth is, scared of the ring and she wants it off, but there's a little more emphasis put on it in The Haunted Mask, right? Where Carly Beth is just freaking out constantly about the mask, how it won't come off, right? There's more of a sense of palpable dread in that story. And also, that story just has a message to it. Whereas in The Horrors of the Black Ring, it's a little more about the chaos the ring does as a creature, right? In The Haunted Mask, it's not necessarily like, I mean, it kind of is a creature, but it's more like a cursed object with a feeling or with a feeling attached to it, right? The ring doesn't necessarily have a feeling attached to it. It's more so a creature. So I think that's where these two stories kind of branch from each other, but in concept, they are very similar, where it's about a cursed object that makes someone do things they wouldn't do, and they're, turning bad, so to speak. But even so, I like the aesthetic, I like the craziness. It's a good book. So originally, I was thinking to give this book an A tier, but I think there's a lot of crazy stuff in this book that happens that sets it apart from other Goosebumps books, like, the blood and, even just the police actually helping out, which is actually such a huge W for Goosebumps. I think it gets a low S tier. I don't think personally that this book is better than The Haunted Mask, but we'll get there when we actually read The Haunted Mask. The original one, not the sequel or the one from Horrorland, the original Haunted Mask. But enough of the yap sesh. That's my thoughts on the book, Horrors of the Black Ring. It gets a low S tier. And next in the series, we will be covering, I believe, Series 2000, number 22, Full Moon Fever. So that's been it for this Goosebumps review. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.